Michael, well done. You've succeeded in what is a really tough process, the detective assessment process and interview process. It's really, really tough. So well done. Congratulations. How are you feeling now you've got through it?
Thank you. Relieved.
Yeah.
Is the word. I still feel like I'm in exam, like sort of assessment, um, stuff I've got to revise and prep but no, really happy to have just got over that finishing line. It's there are so many like little pitfalls you can go through. So just to be
Mhm.
able to get through all those and now to be able to crack on is no, it's great.
Fantastic. Great. I guess sometimes people miss all the sort of study and the one-to-ones and all the preparation. I don't know. Have you found a little gap in your life?
It's my calendar's looking a bit with a bit more space now.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it's just one of those where you never feel you can do too much. You
Yeah.
get ahead of your interview. So to now have
Yeah.
this time back now is really good.
Brilliant. Awesome. Well, let's wind back if we can. So if we could just take you back to before you came and joined the Blue Light Academy programs, um, you had, if you just remember that time and you had all of the assessment process ahead of you, the interviews, um, how were you feeling about the process before you came to join us?
So I actually went through an interview, uh, the application, with a different service before I joined
Mhm.
Blue Light.
Yeah.
And I was probably very naive, thinking, oh, just be able to come up with ideas or situations. I thought I would just answer the question that was laid out in
Mm.
front of me. But then you realize that if you just answer the question how it is, you can maybe answer for 30 seconds to, a minute
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not really score. And yeah, it was just during that time when I remember when I got a notification to say that I hadn't got past the OAC.
Hmm.
That then meant 3 months delay at minimum. And
Yeah.
personal things as well. It just made it that it was like a 6 month plus delay. And I just realized that I couldn't, I don't want that ever again now. I want to make sure that you go through it and you can, succeed.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that first time. I think a lot of people take the sort of guidance from the College of Policing at face value that you don't need to do any preparation and you don't need to know anything about policing. But I don't know. I'm not convinced. That written exercise and briefing exercise, I think you need to know something about policing, don't you?
Yeah, it's like 6 or 8 hours worth of assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those. But I mean, this time around, when I got to the second application, I just knew that I was going to go through it with blue light, and yeah, complete opposite to obviously my first stage when I probably had too much to talk about, and
Brilliant.
it was
Yeah.
a
The opposite
complete
problem.
opposite, really.
Yeah. The opposite problem. What a nice problem to have. I think what this just goes to show as well, Michael, is that we come across so many people. I've in my time come across hundreds, thousands of people who are so ready to be police officers, but they're just not ready for the recruitment process.
Yeah,
So, for anyone who's listening to this who may have failed the online assessment centre, who may be thinking, oh, I'll never make a police officer. They've made an assessment of me and I don't think I'll be able to be a police officer. It's just nonsense, isn't it? Because it's testing your ability to pass a test.
yeah.
That's it. That's it. The fact that you failed it once and then you passed it with flying colours, you're no different as a person, are you?
No, it's and some of the examples were the same, but it was
Yeah,
just that you can phrase it differently, or you can just modify what you have already
yeah,
to make sure that you have that success.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. It's things like structure, detail. Um, Not about using buzzwords or anything like that. That's not going to get you through. Just in case anyone's watching this thinking, oh, Michael's talking about buzzwords. No, he isn't. You're not talking about buzzwords, are you? Just like put the CVF to one side. Yeah, awesome news. Awesome. And then you went for the interview. How was the actual final interview for the detective process? How was the preparation for
In terms of sort of my preparation, I made sure to. You know, obviously I had my one-to-ones, I had the group sessions. I
Hmm.
found that really useful as well to hear other people's opinions because
Mm.
you can then take the feedback someone else has, or you can listen out and say, didn't quite like what they said, or I do like what they said, and you can then, modify that. Um, Obviously listen to your videos. Um, I think I was dreaming of all the videos at one point. But you just, and went to police station, spoke to a detective. Um, and then on the day, it was quite stressful.
Hmm.
And even with all this training, I did have a second of doubt going, oh, I can't do this because you go into a little room straight away,
Yeah.
and we had like a massive folder of all these different situations, and it provided you with so much information, and all the training just sort of came into gear, and that's when I had that sort of confidence to be able to do it. But if I know for a fact that if I didn't have that training, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have been calm in that situation, and I wouldn't have found out little details to look out for to actually answer the question properly. Um, so we had a prioritization. That was a prioritization
Hmm.
interview. That was the first stage. And then you go into another room with two officers, and yeah, they were really pleasant, really sort of welcoming, uh,
Hmm.
just made me feel very comfortable, and
Yeah.
allowed me the time just to speak really.
Well, they're detectives. They know how to build up a rapport. It's part of the interview training they've had. It's part of what's called the peace package of interview training. Engage and explain, building up a rapport. It's a key part of it. It's a key detective skill. So, well, I'm sure they're very nice people anyway. You know,
Yeah.
forces don't tend to pick people who are going to put potential officers off. You know, there's some people I can think of who I've worked with. I'd be thinking, there's no way I'd let them anywhere near a recruit interview. They might be amazing at doing what they're doing, but don't put them in front of a potential recruit. So yeah, but it is tough. It's designed to overload you with information. And talking about the training, like the training we've given you, it is probably better in some ways than some of the training you're going to get when you're actually in the police, because you've got a sort of combined over 250 years worth of experience behind you. And a lot of the systems and processes that we've developed stem from all of that experience. So some of the things that you've learned and you've introduced into the assessment process are things that we've developed,
Mm,
and they will stand you in good stead, not just for the process of getting into the police, but once you're actually in the police. I can promise you this: we get so much feedback from our clients to say that, I'm still using the Eisenhower matrix, or I'm still using the 5 stages for a criminal investigation, or I use CUDSA, or whatever the model is or system is that we've come up with or adapted. People are still using them, and
mm,
so I think they ask a lot of you, don't they, in that assessment? Like, there's a lot expected of you, and um, to say that you wouldn't need police experience for that, you know,
yeah.
tough.
Yeah. It was very much of a you walk into a room and they sort of like lock you in a room,
Yeah,
and like you're just on your own. You've got a clock. You can't have anything on you, or it's all from it's your skill base that you learn
yeah,
how you apply that in that sort of assessment period. Um, but yeah, in terms of it's interesting how they say you don't need decent experience, but then they will provide information similar to what you learn in blue light ahead. So it's
yeah,
quite interesting how they do that.
yeah. Well, it's their assessment system, and the golden rule applies. Those who hold the gold make the rules, and you've just got to play by their rules. Well, I'm so super pleased for you. Who's you? Just remind me who your coach was again.
It was Catherine.
Catherine. And how did you find the process of working with Catherine?
So I had Catherine for my OAC and then for the final interview. Um, and I really struggled with sort of talking about myself, coming up
Hmm.
with situations. So in the OAC, it was the interview questions.
Yeah.
I knew that'd be my weakest before all of this training. And then to be able to then continue on that same development journey.
Hmm.
Even like towards the end, we go, you wouldn't have been able to have done all this 3, 4 months ago. Um, so I found that really helpful having the same person throughout.
Yeah, great.
And I think with Catherine is that she's very honest. So,
Oh,
because she wants you to pass, but it's not a case of, oh, that was great when it wasn't. It was,
yeah.
you need to do better. You can have better than that. It's very much a, um, it's not easy. It's not always, it's honest. It's to the point.
Mm.
But that's how you get the scores. That's how you get the grades.
Yeah, absolutely. She's got a phrase, Catherine, that she likes to hold people's feet towards the fire. It's like make them feel it a little bit. Yeah. Oh no, we're always absolutely honest with people in terms of feedback. Otherwise, how are you going to develop?
Mm.
How are you going to develop? Awesome. Catherine's amazing as well. I've known Catherine for over 20 years. We've worked with each other on and off for over 20 years now. So um, it's great to have her on the team. It's awesome to have her on the team. She's got a track record that's just like second to none. So, as soon as you join us, it's just like the future is written for you, Michael. All you've got to do is the hard work. We'll show you the way. Brilliant stuff. Well, let me ask you this question then. So, um, we are talking to people. Like there's people listening and watching to this now. They're listening to watching to the recording. Um, what advice would you give someone who might be sitting on the fence? Like they've perhaps come across our website, they've read our Trustpilot reviews and thought, oh my goodness, they look too good to be true. Should I complete that form? Should I ask for that discovery call? What would your advice and guidance be for them?
It really depends. For me, obviously, I was that, number of months ago. For me, it's dependent on where else are you going to go. Like this is the best place
Mm,
for me that you're going to prepare for. And I think with this, with blue light, is that it's not just the experience that you're getting. It's not just one-to-one coaches, which that's vital. One-to-one with a police coach who's sat in interviews,
mm,
real life interviews. Um, it's also you're making sure that your revision is as efficient as possible. There is so much to try and learn about, and if you try and focus on anything, on everything, you won't be able to gain a real picture. Whereas with blue light, you can have a sort of like structured approach, knowing what to revise, how to revise it.
mhm.
Um, and a bit like myself, really, I went into the interview very naive first time around, and that delayed me by at least 6 months just to reapply again. So there's a massive time constraint with these applications. You can't just keep on applying. There are so many deadlines, limits in place that one tiny mistake you might need to wait another year. It's that kind of brutal. So in terms of the experience, the understanding, and then the advice, it's been second to none.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for those kind words. But I know that everyone's worked hard to get that. That you're not just going to give away those kind words for nothing. So thank you. It means a lot to us. Well, listen, Michael, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Um, just to say, it's not a goodbye. It's a see you soon. Because very soon we're going to open up our alumni service. So we're going to have like weekly webinars that you'll be able to join. So you'll be able to feel like calendar again. Because we want our clients, once they've actually joined the police, to have the most amazing careers ever. So that as soon as you hit 2 years service and you're out of student officer period, you're ready for going for promotion, you're ready for going for specialist interviews. We're going to make sure that our clients are ahead of every curve. You might have an awesome, amazing sergeant, but they may only have like 7 years of experience under the belt. You might have an amazing inspector who could have 10 years of experience under your belt. But in our corner, you can have over 250 years worth of experience in your corner rooting for you. So I can't wait to introduce that. And I'm sure would welcome you into our alumni at some point in the future, Michael.
Oh, wait.
Thank you very much again for joining me this afternoon. And I'll see you soon. Take care, my friend. All
Yeah.
right.